Hello, hello. We're in the studio. I will show you. Oh, I think you can see my hand in the mirror back there. I haven't set it. I have the wall across from me that I plan to create sort of a video studio wall over there. It's just a blank wall right now, so anything goes. And I'm going to do a little research on that and like what I might do back there. For now, we're facing this way because it's just a blank wall. But I just wanted to come say hi. I've committed to making a video every Tuesday, no matter what. And there are a couple fun things that happened. One is I planted that darn garlic. I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't get myself to do it. But I finally planted the garlic. Absolutely no idea why I've been so resistant to planting the garlic. I really don't. It's such an easy thing to plant. I just got the cloves broken apart. You want to try to not get the paper off the clove, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. The way they separate the other clove kind of keeps the paper. It's still fine. I'm trying to separate out ones that have like obvious issues like that. Some of them had like what looked like some mold, so I want to avoid that as well. This probably is not even close to what I planted last year. I'm just feeling like we have a lot of garlic and we may not end up using it all. I'll probably end up making a garlic powder, which will mean that might last for a really long time. It might surprise me. It might take up the same space as last year, but I have a feeling it's less. So I'm going to go throw this in the garden. I do this in the garden boxes, even though I've been a little concerned that there might be a disease in there. I'm going to try one more year. And if it doesn't work, then I will know that I can't plant in there anymore. But the garlic was so beautiful this year, even after I thought there was going to be a problem with it. Huge, gorgeous garlic. I mean, just incredible. So I'm going to give it another go. I'm forcing myself outside. It's about 40 degrees. And just get this done. This spot here where there's sun is totally soft. But over here in the corner, it's definitely a little frozen. So I'm just going to try to mix this up the best that I can. So basically, I planted last year this garlic box, the big garlic box, and then the one, basically this whole strip was garlic, and it yielded a ton. I'm gonna try it another year. This will be its third year being in this spot. So we're looking at 2 inches deep and about, anywhere from like 4 to 6 inches apart. I'm gonna place these point side up, just like that, with a little space in between each of them. Basically, each one of these cloves grows an entire head of garlic. So you want enough space for a garlic head. So that should do it. And then I'll get another row back there. I think last year I got 3 rows, but I felt like it was really crowded. So I'm gonna do 2 rows this year and then maybe be able to pop in some greens, some early spring greens. I did end up going ahead and adding that 3rd row just to keep it to these 2 boxes. I decided not to do that 3rd because I would like to be able to actually use those 2 end boxes to plant early potatoes. So the corn was in there and I'm leaving the roots in there to break down and kind of feed the soil. So I did end up just adding the 3rd row. It will be less garlic than we grew this year, but I think it's totally fine. I think I still, based on what's in the house, have enough for more seed garlic and eating and garlic powder. So I haven't covered these up yet. I just wanted to show you the cute little rows. So they're all planted. I'll cover them up and then I'll try to find some leaves to throw on top to mulch these. And that's it. This is the beginning of the 2023 garden. I'm really glad to be on the other side of it. I think that I was energetically putting things in my path that were keeping me stuck. And once I started to move through those, just sort of checking the boxes one by one, like tick, 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 this is no longer there, this is no longer there, a whole lot started to open up. I started to feel a lot of freedom. And what seems to be happening at the same time is my ability to let go has increased. And I mean this physically and emotionally. So, physically, I'm finding that I am starting to go through the process of letting go of stuff, the things that I have built story around that, or just kind of collected to feel good, whatever it might be. And I don't want to be, surrounded by things that I'm holding on to, but I'm not using. So if you watched my Sacred Aesthetic video, I talked about, um, is this being used? Is there a place for this? And I am like the queen of finding little places to tuck things. So, I had gone through 2 drawers of my dresser that had just stuff. They were filled with like picture frames and all these different things. And I have made bag after bag after bag of donation things. And it feels amazing. And at the same time that I'm letting go of this stuff, I can feel myself releasing things that I've been holding on to. I don't talk about this a lot, but I am 4 years sober, and there seems to be something that happens between year 3 and year 4. The first 3 years were, for me, I'll speak for myself. I think that a lot of people echo this, but I'll speak for myself. The first 3 years were incredibly challenging because the thing that I had used as like a social lubricant, as a way of dealing with anxiety and panic attacks, even though that was probably causing them in the end. The thing that, helped me unwind, the thing that I enjoyed so much, but also the thing that was literally destroying me and my relationships and my body. It was no longer. And I had to find all these new ways. So the first 3 years, tough. As I went from year 3 to 4, something started to happen. And it was this shedding of all that stuff that I have held, all the things that that sort of made me me, those stories that made me me, the behaviors that made me me. I was still kind of holding on to that. And at some point, there was this deep letting go of that. And I think in addiction, that's one of the pieces that we have to look at. We have to look at what that story is. Like, I feel like there's this story that I was really fun when I was drinking, and I am not a fun person anymore. And that was really hard for me. But the truth is, I absolutely can be a fun person without drinking. I just haven't had an opportunity, really, because I have been going through the process of sobriety, and it's not fun. And I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm willing to let those stories go so that I can move into this new experience of self. And quite honestly, fun is not something that I really need to describe myself with. It's not something that I feel terribly attached to. It was sort of this story that was written when I was drinking a lot that, I was fun and, daring and brave, and now I'm, boring and calm and peaceful, but I kind of like those things quite a bit. And so I'm in the process of letting go. It is emotional, as you can see. So there's this like physical releasing of stuff. There is this emotional releasing of story and maybe like, feelings of regret or whatever it might be. And then there's also this like catching up of life. Like I feel like I was making myself really stuck for a long time. And as these three things start to come together, it's a lot. Like it is the process of letting go. It doesn't feel good till it feels good. That's what I can say. It doesn't feel good until it feels good. And if we can challenge ourselves to like, just let go of one story that we have written about ourselves, or that we've adapted from both, from other people in our lives, that story that we inherited and made our own. What if we can release that so that we can live in this much truer, authentic version of ourselves? I'm kind of going through a little tough thing right now. And I said to my friend, I got a little triggered and activated some of my old stuff. And I said, it feels like I'm stuck in the mud. And it makes the day-to-day stuff really hard. And my friend said, I don't remember exactly what she said. What if you clear the mud away? And then I kept thinking, like, what would it be like to step out of the mud? To step out of the mud. Like, yes, I am activated. I am triggered. Some of my emotional old stuff, especially like the attachment stuff, is triggered. Anxious attachment. And yet, haven't I grown so much and changed so much in these last 4 years that perhaps I have the ability to step out of the mud, to clear some of the mud. And that felt hand in hand to what I'm doing right now with this letting go process of, whatever it might be, just this holding on with these reasons of why I'm keeping things, or holding on to a story because it is so deeply inside of me. And I just wanted to share that with you because it seems so simple, but I think we all know it's not. And it's a very profound, and we have to be in the right place to be able to accept that we have that control. We have that choice, that we can choose to clear that mud, to step out. And so that's what I'm kind of living into today. And while it's a little fresh, obviously, because I'm a little emotional about it, it felt like something I really wanted to share with you, because maybe you are in your own sort of personal mud pit, and perhaps you haven't yet realized that the work you've done, the healing you've done, the changes you've gone through have actually set you up to not just be able to, acknowledge the mud and see the mud and know it's there around you, because sometimes that's even tricky, but that you're at a place where you now can clear that mud, that you have that integrity and you have that, like, those personal values that you can just hold on to, your own personal magic, your own beauty, and you can do that. It may not feel good and it may not be easy, but I think, for me, the idea that I am able to do that because of all that I've been working on this year, culminating in all of this clearing. And I imagine some of that clearing really shakes things up, really stirs things up inside. And to be tender to those parts that are feeling a little bit vulnerable and activated, right? So that's what I'm doing today. And then I'm going to show you my studio. I have this shirt here that I want to show you. It's actually a shirt that when I was thinking about letting go of coaching, it was the shirt that brought me back to the shop. So I will show you that and I'll talk about that. And I'll just kind of show you where I am with the studio space right now. And I just want to send a lot of love to your hearts. I want, my goal ever since becoming sort of an online person 14 years ago was to share the truth. And not to like spill my dirty garbage, throw out my, the trash for you to see, but to be honest, because there are so many times we hear people and we see people and we see little tiny blurbs of their life, and some of those more raw parts are hidden, and it makes us feel like something is wrong with us. We are somehow doing this wrong, and I want to tell you, you are not doing it wrong. And it might be really hard right now, and I want you to know that no matter what Instagram pictures you're seeing, no matter what TikTok dances you're seeing, that there's a whole story behind that. There's depth, and there are so many layers to who we all are. And I think that we have to take the time to show them and to share them and to say, like, that we might be grieving, we might be tender, we might be raw, vulnerable, hurting, and healing, and growing, and changing, and becoming. It's all so valuable, and it's also beautiful, and it's what creates our magic. So, yeah, let's go look at the studio. I remember going to Goodwill and seeing this shirt. And I didn't actually buy this shirt. Because I wasn't selling at that time, and this isn't a shirt that I would necessarily wear. I'm not really one to wear a bunch of colors, but it had this like vintagey feel to it, and it has butterflies all over it. And one of the things, and even what I think are moths, so it has like a mixture of butterflies and moths, and that's kind of my thing. I have this whole story about the butter moth, and I have a tattoo of my butter moth, and I didn't buy the shirt, and I thought about the shirt, and it is actually this shirt that is the reason that I knew that this was what I was supposed to do, because of those butterflies and those moths. And I actually love this like chartreusey yellow color. I just don't personally wear it. And yeah, this is the reason that I knew I was supposed to come back to the shop. The shop had been my ultimate dream. It was what I was going to do. I had held on to this dream of having this shop for so long. And then when I went through a really tough time, it was very hard for me to maintain the shop. And I always thought I'd come back to it, but then I just wasn't sure. We make all these like life changes. And anyway, I went back and I got the shirt. And so this is the shirt that helped me decide to reopen the shop, Pocket and Fern, and that has helped me kind of find my path again, because I love this work so much. Finding things that can be loved again and given a new home and not put in a landfill, and just be honored and help people like really feel amazing about themselves. So that is the story of this shirt, and yeah, time to sell it. I've been holding on to it. I had to move. I had 3 vintage rugs here, and I had to move the one that was here next to my bed, but the cat was scratching it, like really tearing it up, because she likes to sit right in this spot when I'm working in the studio. Now, I will say I stepped on her. I was putting some clothes on the mannequin and I stepped back and I didn't know she was there and I stepped on her, and she hasn't actually come in the bedroom once since yesterday. She usually sleeps with me and she went and slept with Eli. So I might not have a problem with the rug there right now, but anyway, I had to move that. So I did have the 3-layered rugs, and then this rug is here. So it looked really nice. And right now I just have my ring light in the corner. And this is the area that I want to create some sort of little video backdrop for. Right now it's just completely blank. I mentioned that I wanted to hang the vintage bags. I only had 2 hooks, but I love the way that looks right now. Then all there's going to be here is a plant, and anything that you see here will eventually be listed in the shop. So I'm just kind of tucking things in here that I will need to take pictures of. I think I'm going to have more of the home goods in, not this next coming shop sale, but the one after that, because I just still need to kind of figure all that out. And then I have a couple more vintage bags that need to be hung up that I will figure out. We hung this full-length mirror, which I love. I do like to stand in the mirror and show some of the clothes and talk about it mostly on Instagram. Hello, hello. All right, then next I have this beautiful print that Chloe made in art school. She goes to Mass Art, and I get to keep a lot of the art that she makes. So I found a frame for that. And I know that there's quite a bit of a reflection on that, but it's this beautiful black and white painting. And then right now I'm just popping, after I take a photo of the clothes, I'm just popping them folded onto my desk, and that's the first step. So I know they're photographed, and then I will take those piles and I'll sit down with my computer and I'll get the pictures into the computer and I will write the description for everything. So that's just sort of my system right now. Again, I would like to have another space that I might be able to put things on, but for now, this is just kind of perfect. And then this beautiful chair, the curtains that I think I've already shown you, but I can't quite remember what was what last time. And then the mannequin with the nice big blank wall. I'm feeling really proud of it. I'm really enjoying being in this space. It's incredibly relaxing, and it's fun to just lay in bed and also see this space at the end of the day. So that is the new studio. This is the corner that I'm hoping to set up some sort of little video studio thing, and you know, I'm open to changing my mind all the time, so we'll see if that happens. We'll see what works, but I do think it would be really cool just to do something fun over here. What? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. All right, as always, thank you for being here. I appreciate you.